going into Canyon Ambush between the Skyborne and Team Predators. I do have the the names on the wrong side. Let me fix that real quick. Um, so first off, for the red team, for Team Predators, we have Greasy Dream, piloted by Mighty Keb. It is a Gatling Banshee Squid with a rear light carronade. Their ally, piloted by Fiasco Total, is Spoon. It is a Hwatch Aspire with a front-facing mortar, right side flare gun, left side Gatling gun. And their opponents, the Skyborne. First off, piloted by Sunstrom, we have the Victor Prime. It is another Hwatch Aspire, forward-facing Gatling, right side Gatling, left side Scylla double mortar. And finally, their ally, armed with wings, heavy carronade Goldfish, left side light carronade, right side Gatling, piloted by Baron B. Aaron. Not sure if we've seen him piloting before. So these both teams electing to go with very aggressive close range builds. Canyon Ambush, I'm messing up my key bindings here. Canyon Ambush, one of those maps that really, as I say that, Greasy Dream has already moved in on the blue team. He's going to go right on pass. He just wanted to get spots. But here comes the Spoon coming around the corner. Or are they? Interesting. I feel like both teams now probably know where each other are, but they're not sure exactly how they want this fight to start. Greasy Dream, he's moving forward. He has to be careful here because he's about to fly right into the front side of this Hwatcha Spire. But no, he's only the distraction. Spoon coming in from behind. Big Hwatcha hits, destroying everything on the Victor Prime. Armed with wings, gonna have to take the Spoon out of this fight if he wants to save his ally. The mortar's coming in, taking out the Victor Prime. So much DPS from the Spoon. And while they did get the balloon disable on the Red Spire, Armed with Wings is all by themselves now. Gatling coming out from the Greasy Dream, disabling the heavy carronade. Armor going down on the Armed with Wings. They're going to have to back out. They're going to have a difficult time keeping that heavy carronade up in the face of this disabling Gatling fire. And as soon as the Spoon comes back in, they're going to watch and they're going to kill that Goldfish. A very fast start to this match. Typically not something you see on Canyon Ambush. As you see, there are a lot of clouds on this map. There's a lot of terrain. There are these canyons. Often we'll have sort of a period at the beginning of a canyon game where the teams are sort of trying to find each other. They're moving around the map. They don't quite have the sonar location necessary to find their opponents. But in this case, the team's immediately running into each other. Very not typical of this map. And now Greasy Dream, he's keeping his forward position. He's going to continue to scout out Blue's spawn. They want to find the location of the Skyborne, because that information like that is so important in this game. Because often, as you saw in that match, it can just come down to who gets the first volley. It can be hugely important, especially when you have all these disabling weapons like the Hwatcha, like the heavy carronade. Because once you land a solid clip, all their guns are going to be down. And you really can just seal it up at this point. Spoon, a little close to blue team here. They have taken kind of the west side safe spawn behind this big canyon ridge, so this gives red team a little bit of space where they can kind of explore before they're going to run into a fight. I presume that blue has not necessarily seen where the predators are, so they might not necessarily know that they've ventured this far into their own spawn. Especially considering they're moving canyon bound, although with a spot going down now on the Armed with Wings, they probably suspect that something is up. And they're going to have to be very careful here because they do not want to take a Hwatcha barrage from behind from the Spoon. That may be what we see here. I don't think they've spotted the Spoon yet. They still don't know exactly where Red Team is. This is about to be very bad for the Victor Prime. Greasy Dream coming up from behind. Gatling gun coming up. Armed with Wings is turning to engage. I want to see where the Spoon, where his Watch of Barrage lands. Looks like it's going to hit the Armed with Wings, take out the heavy carronade. Not taking out the whole armor, but this means Victor Prime, he's got the green light to hit the Spoon himself. Armed with Wings needs to be careful though. Armor going down from the Gatling. Gatling on the Spoon going down as well. Victor Prime bringing in their own mortars, taking down a huge chunk of the health from the Spoon, but not able to get a kill. Greasy Dream's going to try to do their own damage, not turning fast enough for the Banshee. Greasy Dream just not going to be able to contribute enough firepower to this match, so Spoon is going to have to do some evasive maneuvers if they want to survive. And they are hydroing up, but Victor Prime is going to follow. And all they need, the Victor Prime only needs one hull break here and one mortar to take out the Red Spire. Ooh, don't even need a mortar. You just need the front of your ship, man. Smash them. And now the Greasy Dream, the Team Predators, I assume now they're going to give up that 1 point. Greasy Dream's going to get on out of here and try to start with another even fight. And they do need to be careful. They're in a squid. It's hard to catch a squid if they decide to retreat, but if the Greasy Dream's balloon succumbs to that heavy carronade, they lose a lot of their maneuverability. But it looks like they will make it safely back into the enemy spawn. So going into this next fight, Victor Prime at about half health. Blue Spire going to have to be very careful here. They will die extremely quickly if they take an armor break at the wrong time. Greasy Dream going to continue to scout. That's one of the primary advantages really with Team Predator's build here, is that what they give up in DPS with the squid, they do gain in map knowledge, in knowledge of where the enemy team is, because they get that scouting potential, and they can use that to start the fight in an advantageous position. And already the Victor Prime taking a lot of damage here. The Greasy Dream going for an okay ram, although now landing on top of this rocky orifice, not where he wants to be, but I imagine he'll be able to drop down, get the whole break on Victor Prime, and finish them off. Gatling should be enough. Going for ram, not able to hit it, as Spoon takes down the goldfish. And that was actually a pretty, well, I was going to say pretty bad that they missed that ram on the Victor Prime, because it meant the Victor Prime might have been able to do something to the Spoon, but looks like that's not going to be the case, and they're just going to go down as well. Oh man, Line Gun OP. Line Gun OP. I feel like we haven't been seeing a lot of balloon disables from the Armed with Wings. Like, they really should. I guess it really does come down to that positional awareness of the enemy team, right? Because, like, if the Armed with Wings manages to get, say, a balloon disable on the Spoon at the beginning of the fight, then the advantage is definitely in their favor, but they just have not been able to do that. The Spire will go down in the face of a heavy carronade very quickly. It's a ship that's very vulnerable to ramming, but they haven't been able to get the right angles, or they've just been distracted by the squid, or really I'm not sure what's been going on. And unfortunately, with their team composition, with the Spire in tow, if they get off to a bad start in a fight, they're not going to be able to easily reset it. As opposed to if it were, say, double goldfish, and let's say you missed a heavy carronade, at that point you can just run away, and Spoon will have difficulty catching you. But since they have that Spire not the easiest ship to escape with. Once they've committed to a fight, they're kind of in it. and they have to ride it out. And unfortunately, none of these fights they have had a very good start for the Skyborne. So I wonder what they're going to be doing here. If they've given up on canyon fights and they're going to sit in their spawn here, maybe they want to use that defensive advantage, use their visibility that they have, sitting here at the flight ceiling. It looks like Greasy Dream, he's going to try to bait them a little bit, or maybe just trying to get spots. Red team does have, they're holding a disjointed formation here with the Spoon kind of hiding over there to the east. Oh, apparently they're paused. I guess that makes more sense. Uh, I didn't notice that in the chat. But yeah, Greasy Dream is going to dart over to the west side of the map. It looks like they're going to try to hit Skyborne from 2 angles simultaneously. Kind of a large flank. I do wonder if... oh, actually, Spoons, they're waiting here. They're going to go move through the rocky terrain and come up behind the Skyborne. And I wonder if, based on Skyborne's positioning, I'm not sure they actually know, because they're unwittingly moving directly behind the Spoon, and Spoon's going to back out here, noticing this new opportunity. They have no idea the Spoon is here. Oh, this is going to be really... Spoon actually taking a little bit of bump up here, but this is going to be really bad for the blue team if they don't react to this quickly. And I think they finally see the Spoon, and they're moving forward, trying to get the hell away from this position. That was almost just an insane ambush from the Predators. Watch is going to come out, initiate this fight, hitting the Victor Prime, taking down the guns, Gatling from the Greasy Dream, taking down the whole armor of the Victor Prime, and the mortars come out, and there goes the Spire. There goes the game. Team Predators winning the first match today in a very decisive fashion. Just utilizing the speed of the Squid to gain all that scouting knowledge, allowing them to start every fight with the advantage they needed to take it. Very smart from the Predators. Battle on the Dunes, going into our second game between Team Predators and the Skyborne. Imers, thank you for joining me today. We've got a lot of Guns of Icarus to go. But first, Battle on the Dunes. For the Predators, red team, we have, once again, the Greasy Dream, piloted by Mighty Keb. It is a Gatling Banshee Squid with a rear light carronade. Their ally, Fiesta, piloted by Fiasco Total, is a heavy carronade Goldfish, flamethrowers flanking both sides. Their opponents, the Skyborne, flying the Skyborne, that won't be, is Sunstrom. That won't be confusing at all. Naming a ship after your team. It is a Hades Mobula with 2 Artemis and 2 Banshees. Their ally is a Mobula as well, the Sky Whale Bastard, piloted by Baron B. Aaron. This one opting to bring the Mercury. You can actually see the Squid in the rear there. Gatling Banshee close range with 2 arts flanking the outer wings. So Greasy Dream has taken a forward position behind the engine in blue spawn, while Fiesta is moving easterly. So it looks like we are going to see one of these wide flanks that these players, the Glowwater Thralls at least, were very known for on this map. I remember the first time they really did this against the Mandarins and actually won the game on Dunes. It was very impressive because up to that point, really the only thing we'd seen on this map are very long, drawn-out sniping matches. Fiesta doing something to this balloon. leaving Hydra on a little too long, but it does look like Blue Team is well aware of where the Fiesta is. They don't necessarily see the Greasy Dream yet. Based on their positioning, I think they expect the Greasy Dream maybe to come out of red spawn. They are facing almost straight south, not necessarily aware of their positioning behind the engine. So this could be fairly bad for the Skyborne, but they are. I like what they're doing here. They know where the Fiesta is, and they know the Predators are probably planning something very sneaky. So they're actually holding a formation and moving onto red side of the map. This is a very heads up play from the Skyborne. Although I do, and also the way I like the way they have the mobulas facing both ways, so they can't actually be surprised. They have guns facing in all directions. This is something you don't see that often, but Greasy Dream going to be adjusting their positioning based on Skyborne's movements. I wonder how the Predators are going to adjust their strategy to this new wrinkle. Because this is actually very interesting what the Skyborne's doing here, because very rarely do you see the teams, like if you're trying to hold a defensive position, moving your defensive position to the opposite side of the map. That's actually very rare. But it looks like we are going to have the start of the fight here with the Greasy Dream a little far out. Fiesta might be engaging too early. They're going to be taking a lot of sniper fire at the beginning of this match. Alright, Greasy Dream's going to be coming up from behind. Fiesta needs to get in position. They need to get some heavy carronade shots, take one of these mobulas out of the fight. But I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it fast enough. Hull armor's going down. Not too much permanent damage, and Greasy Dream is joining the fight. They're going to be having Gatling coming out soon. Armor on the Skyborne is going to go down. Oh, a big ram from the Skyborne. Whoa. Completely obliterating them, sending them to the grave. That was a crazy ram from the Greasy Dream. And now, what looked like a pretty good fight for the blue team, just randomly losing one of their ships like that. The Skywell Bastard's going to be in a very bad spot. And I was talking about how rare it is for you to shift your defensive position. A little bit of a ram from the Skywell Bastard, taking them down. Typically, when you set up a defensive formation like that, at least what most teams do is you kind of hold it. You don't necessarily move around too much. You find a spot kind of near the flight ceiling, maybe near some terrain, someplace you have good visibility in all directions, and you stay there. And then once you see a target, you start firing on them. But the strategy, the tactic they decided to employ by moving into red spawn, actually working against them, because once the Predators got that fast kill on the Skyborne, like they were out of their own spawn zone. Basically, the Skywell Bastard had no hope, because when the Skyborne respawned, it would be on the opposite side of the map. They lost their spawn advantage by moving that far south. Which is traditionally, like, if you have a long-range build, you want to stay in your own spawn zone, because you want that defensive spawn advantage. You want to be able to get close spawns if you lose one of your ships. So I suspect they're going to be staying home this time for this next fight. They're not going to be moving too far away. It's also going to be interesting to see how the Predators, it seems like they're going for the same pincer maneuver they were at the start of the match, with Greasy Dream taking the western engine, Fiesta coming through east ribs. But blue team's definitely ready for this. And with no clouds currently, there's gonna be a little bit of a time before the next window of opportunity for the Predators to move in. I assume they want to wait for one of these clouds. before they actually pursue. Yeah, Greasy Dream moving forward to the cloud. Also, kind of interesting that these mobulas are bringing different center guns. One with a Merc, one with a Hades. Not quite sure what the reasoning behind that is, considering they're holding a pretty close formation and engaging from the same range. Typically, Hades is considered the better of the two, with much higher DPS and firing arcs, where the Mercury gives you the longer absolute range. So usually you pick one or the other depending on, how you're going to move into a fight as a team, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to choose different guns for the ships, but that is what the Skyborne has chosen to do. And I guess they do have the Merc Mobula does have more powerful close range weapons. They do have that Gatling Banshee for the inner wings. But it looks like Fiesta is going to be moving in on the Skyborne, taking out their balloon. Skyborne's going to be popping Drogue Shoot, trying to stay in the air, and the Greasy Dream's taking a lot of damage from that aforementioned Gatling Banshee on the Scale Whale Bastard. They have to be careful here not to die. I don't think they were expecting so much firepower. Greasy Dream actually using the rear light carronade on the Skywell Bastard, doing a little bit of hull damage, a little bit of balloon damage, hull damage on the Skywell Bastard. Suddenly there's a Predator sandwich, and the top half of the bread just flipped off with the squid going down. But Fiesta, they've got a good angle on the Mobula. They're going to take them down, but they need to not go down themselves. They don't have hull armor. They don't want to hit the ground. They have no balloon. This might be the end for the Fiesta. Yeah, a lot of action happening very quickly from almost a standstill. I don't think Mighty Keb on the Squid expected to take so much damage from the Skywell Bastard with that fight, actually forcing them to retreat for a bit, then backing up. That wasn't an interesting kind of formation from the Fiesta and the Greasy Bastard, managing to kill the Skywell Bastard there, but I imagine losing the squid wasn't part of the plan, and unfortunately that left the Fiesta there alone with no hull armor, and the Skyborne having a good angle on them. But this does mean Predators will hold on to their advantage, 3-2. So potentially they they could take the game in the next fight. They just need 2 more kills. But at the same time, they need to be careful not to give up kills themselves, because based on the format of the tournament today, every kill you give up is going to hurt your overall score when deciding who goes to the finals at the end of the day. So one might think that would prompt the teams to play a little more conservatively, maybe be a bit more pensive with their fights, although we're really not seeing that with the Predators. Predators playing extremely aggressively with these 2 very fast ships. And so this positioning from the Predators, they're actually going for the same pincer maneuver that they have been. This is the 3rd time now, but going in with the opposite sides, actually. Fiesta coming in from the west this time, with Greasy Dream from the east. And the mobules are actually a little bit separated here. They have to be careful. The Greasy Dream is stalking the Skyborne, and I'm not sure if they know the red squid is there. But I think they're going to take this opportunity to maybe group up a bit more. And Greasy Dream wants to make sure not to engage too soon, because the Fiesta is still, once again, very far out. So it's going to be a little bit of time before he has the support of his ally. And that Mercury from the Skywell Bastard is going to come into effect immediately. And actually, Skyborne taking a little bit of time to react here. And what this does mean is that the Fiesta is going to get the better of Skywell Bastards. So if they're not able to do something about the Greasy Dream's whole armor going down, being rebuilt very quickly, I feel like the first ship that's going to go down in this fight is going to be the Skywell Bastard if they're not careful. Fiesta pursuing the Skywell Bastard to the ground, taking out their balloon. At the same time, the Skyborne's been taking a lot of damage from the Greasy Dream. Gatling armor, shredding the... Gatling armor? Gatling gun... What? Okay, well, that's Battle on the Dunes. That's a 5-2 victory for the Predators. Very decisive showing against the Skyborne. Very aggressive play. Not your typical Dunes match. That was actually kind of fun to watch, although a little difficult to track all the ships. But they will be taking that 2-0 to the bank.